Shalom, shalom, Makim. Brother come out with hard here back at it again. First thing first, we give all praise and honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakwadash. Double honors of the apostles and elders of the truth from GMS. Blessings to the Akim, my dear, preaching his word, whole true sincerity. Blessed to the 144,000, 1/3 entirely. The first fruits that advertisement. Yeah, whatever. The 1/3 entirely. The first fruits, kingdom of heaven, house of David, the Biyaf Dawadah. And shalom to you brothers out there speaking different tongues and looking different nations. Shalom to you brothers. So today, brothers, man, I wanted to, do a land back. I see out and going, a little short land back too. Lord, let the spirit deal, but on Israel only. I'm seeing a couple of camps. There's so-called wacky-techie Christians coming out, trying to say that, this is for everybody thing, typical shit. Everybody can be saved. Everybody can be in the covenant, the second covenant or whatever, and the Gentiles of the New Testament are actual heathens that are able to be into the ministry of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Simeon Indians, which are the Israelites, the real people of the Lord, Yahawashi, and pretty much just nonsense. So the brother's been on the highways and hedges defending the gospel on how this is very exclusive to the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Simeon Indians again. So, I wanted to give my own 2 cents as well. There's plenty of scriptures plenty of precepts in the scriptures that also proves that that this is only for Israelites only and not the heathen, which are the true Gentiles, which a true Gentile, especially in the Old Testament, predominantly, that definition will be a nation of people who are not by the same bloodline as a Hebrew Israelite, from the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. If you're not from one of those 12 sons, which each son is his own nation, from Judah down to Issachar, if you're not from that bloodline, you are not an Israelite, and aka you are a real Gentile. Now, we also teach that, which is also true, do your research and understand the history, that Gentiles in the New Testament are actually Israelites who take on the customs of the heathens, which will make them Gentiles. We also call them Gentile foreigners as well, which they're Israelites for the reason why the apostles and Paul and all the different prophets and apostles had to go out into the nations to preach the word to the nations, where Israelites were in between the nations. So basically picking them out and pulling them and speaking to the nations, looking for those Israelites who are considered to be Gentile foreigners who are representing the actual customs. Like, for example, you have an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar, but he doesn't know that. So he's living in Rome. So when Paul was over speaking to the Romans, he was telling those Israelites who are claiming to be Roman citizens that they're actually real Israelites, which is adopting them back to the fold of Yahawashi, ultimately attempting to seal the elect, because that's what this whole thing is about. So I want to start with some small precepts, like what I normally like to do. I like to so like it, brothers. So what I like to do, let me see. Okay, there we go. So what I like to do, I also tell brothers that, hey, yo, like Apostle Tahar would say, pull out the jugular precepts to make your point the strongest. So this is Malachi 3:6. It says, for I am Yahawah, I change not. Right. So that's another cut right there. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Right. So there you go. So the Lord said he changes not. So now if the Lord doesn't change, and then you got a precept like this, Deuteronomy 7:6, which obviously in the book of Deuteronomy, these are the Hebrew Israelites who had the commandments with Moses, correct? So now this is talking about Israel, because this is about the Israelites in the time frame. Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art a holy people, which means separate. So there you go. Unto the Lord thy God, thy power, the Yahawashi, thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Now, granted, No, granted, you see in Malachi 3 and 6 that it said the Lord changes not, because the Lord doesn't change. We're still his favorite people. It's just the fact that we went off. Because what happens is this, so let me slow down. What happens is this: is you got people in the highways and hedges that want to buck up against the prophets and the teachers, that's saying that the Lord has turned his back on Israel, and now it welcomes the other nations into it, because they bring precepts like the circumcision and the Gentiles precepts that they don't understand, like Galatians 3 and 8, and they didn't read verse 9, and obviously things like precepts like that's pretty much the best I can think of right now. Nor Greek nor Jew is their favorite one. All right, so in this case scenario, the Lord is calling a special people unto himself above all people. Malachi 3 and 6 says the Lord doesn't change. But see, here's another clue. So if you can't really, if you pick these precepts, then cool. There's other precepts. Remember, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, to defend the gospel. So what you want to do is you can always go to something like Isaiah 14, which is a really good one. Or you can go to Romans 11. So let's go to Isaiah 14 first. 14 and 1. It says, for Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi will have mercy on Jacob, right? And will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave unto the house of Jacob. So there you go. So now the strangers in this particular precept are actually the Gentile foreigners. When you can also read in Revelation 7 and 9 that multitude that you can't really figure out. Right? What it says, and will yet choose Israel. So no matter how bad it looks, no matter what's going on, the Lord is going to choose Israel. How do we know? Well, you got to look at it. We are the sons of the living power ourselves, right? We are sons of Yahawah. That's what Yasha Allah means, or Israel means Yasha Allah in the Hebrew, which means he, prince power. Meaning you are the princes of the power, right? And so when you go to the book of Amos, you can go to the book of Amos, and Amos 3 and I believe it's 2. It says, you only have I known of all the families of the earth, right? Therefore I will punish you for all your iniquities. So whenever you got people bucking up against the prophets and the teachers, they like, oh, God turned his back on them and now welcomed them up. Well, no, that's not true. The Lord is just dealing with his own people like a father to his son. Whenever the son goes off or the son does a mistake, the father chastises or punishes him, and then he loves him again and then keep him moving, right? Because it said, and this, so that's all he did was the Lord just that beat us down for a second because we went off, and then he brought us back. And next thing you know, we're back now, and also he just chastising us. But remember, it says, and we yet choose Israel. What you can also do is you can go to the book of Romans, where Paul is at, right? Romans, and I'm gonna go to 9 right after that. Romans 11 and 1. And look at what Paul's saying. I say then, have the Most High cast away his people, right? Yahawah forbid. So now anybody who's saying that the Lord turned his back on us and chalked us up for the win and allowing the other heathen and other nations into our ministry, that's where this can cut you at. So it has the Lord cast away his people. They said the Lord did, but the Lord through Paul is saying Yahawah forbid. For I also am an Israelite of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. So you got to be an Israelite in order to be a part of the Lord's people. It ain't nobody else. That's why when you go to what's that? I think let me go to Romans 9. Another cut. Also a good juggler. Let's start at Romans 9 and go to 3. For I could wish that myself were cursed from Yahawashi for my brethren, for my kinsmen, according to the flesh. Not no spiritual people, not no spiritual shit. The flesh, meaning the actual real biological situation. And then to prove this, verse 4. Who are Israelites? Boom, right? And then to whom pertaineth. Now, this is the precept right here where it really cuts home and really hard. Because when you read Romans 11, you know now that the Lord is not going to cast away his people. Yahawah forbid. And then you got Malachi 3 and 6 where he doesn't change. So if the Lord's everlasting covenant, second covenant is going to go to the Israelites, then and it's been promised through Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then then that's a promise that the Lord lying if he go against that. But he made a promise already, so he just punishing us. So obviously, if the Lord don't change, he also doesn't lie either. So the promise will also still go to who? The Israelites. Who are the Israelites to whom pertaineth the adoption and the glory? Now, what's the adoption? The adoption is the actual Gentile foreigners who don't know the Israelites. So when those apostles go over into different nations to preach the word to those Gentile foreigners, they're being adopted back unto Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, not the heathen. You can't be adopted back into something you was never a part of in the first place. Just because them brothers don't know the Israelites don't mean they're not Israelites. But you're not an Israelite, but they are Israelites. They just don't know they're Israelites. A total different scenario. So only a lost child that has an inheritance of billions of dollars can get the inheritance, because through his bloodline and his lineage, he's a part of, bloodline wise, of the family that he doesn't know nothing about. Turns out this kid is an orphan, and turns out he's actually a billionaire and don't even know it. So now you got people who found this young boy and brought him back to his family where he belonged in the first place, and now he inherits the billions. That's what's going on when it comes to Israelites and these Gentiles in the New Testament. And it says pertaineth to. Now we got to understand the word pertain means belong to. What we like to say is, if you on a corner with three other brothers and a cop pulls up, and then this guy named is Steve, and he's like, yo, I have a warrant that pertaineth to Steve. We gonna back up like, ain't got nothing to do with me. You feel what I'm saying? Because it pertaineth to him and not us, because that's where the warrant was going to. It's the same thing with this. Pertaineth to the adoption. So it's only for the Israelites, the glory, the kingdom of heaven, the spiritual bodies, the inheritance of the universe, the glory, only the Israelites. The covenants, only the Israelites. The giving of the law, only the Israelites. In the service of the Heavenly Father, only the Israelites. In the promises, only the Israelites. Whose are the fathers, and whom as concerning the flesh Yahawashi came, who is over all, Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi, blessed forever. Amen. So there you go. So okay, cool. The covenants. Okay, well then now it says the covenants. Well then cool. We can go further, and then we can hit that. We can get Hebrews. We can hit Hebrews 8 and 8. Hebrews 8 and 8. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, saith the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. There you go. So that new covenant is not for the world. It's for the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Okay, cool. Go back to Romans. There you go. You cut that right up. Easy money. Then it says, and the giving of the law. Well, we know the law was given to the Israelites when Moses was on the scene, but we can also go to the book of Psalms, and we can get straight to the point with that one. We can go to the book of Psalms 147, 19, 20. It says, he showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. There you go. Now this word gets really, really hurtful. He hath not dealt so with any nation. So, and as for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So now, if the Lord has never dealt with nobody else, what makes you think, and the Lord don't change, what makes you think he's going to give it to the heathens? You see that? Why would he do that? Okay, we can get more funky. We got to do it. So matter of fact, wait a minute, hold up. Romans 9 again. And it says, now we got the giving of the law and the service of the Lord. Well, in order to serve the Lord, you got to have the law, and to keep the commandments is how you actually show love to the Lord. But who has the laws? The Israelites. So if you're not an Israelite, then you can't do the service of the Lord. And there's not going to be no heathen on the front lines, on the highways and hedges actually representing, because the Lord not letting it happen. Like, even if certain Israelites is going off, they're not going to be on the front lines as a different nation. It's not working that way. And the promises, well, we can see that pertaining to the Israelites. Boom, there you go. Now, okay, cool, right? Now, okay, now here's the other thing. Here's another hurtful situation. You got to go to, let's go to second address 3, because I'm going to hit a couple of address ones. 3 and 32. It says, or is there any other people that knoweth these besides Israel? Or what generation have so believed thy covenants as Jacob? None. It's only been Jacob, the ones that believe, because they the ones who got the covenant the first time, and the second one is for them too. Well, if you're not involved in the covenant, then where are you at? Like, I mean, if you're not involved in the covenant, then where are you at in this situation? What, like, it's like, how can you be in a football game without a jersey and a uniform? I mean, you don't have the uniform nor a team. So what are you doing? Like, where are you at for real? You see what I'm saying? Now, Esdras 6, right, is really hurtful. This is where you can slam dunk it. Second Esdras, we can start at 54. And after these, Adam also, whom thou hast made a Lord of all thy creatures. That's true. Of him come we all. We do. Let it keep reading. And the people also who thou hast chosen. So everybody comes from Adam and the people who he chosen. So that's two separate situations now. You see that? Now this is where it get real funky. So now you got the people that the Lord chosen and the other people and the rest of the people. Well, it sounds like Deuteronomy 7:6, where it says, thou art a holy people, which holy means separate. So now they're the holy people that's separate from all the other people. But it says, thou art a holy people unto himself. The Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So now you can relate that precept with this one. It says, who made us Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all. And the people also whom thou hast chosen, the holy and everybody else. There you go. So then you got all these have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. So now the Lord made the whole world for the Israelites and only for the Israelites. That's what it's saying. And then it says, as for the other people, so you got the holy people. Now he's speaking about the other people. Now, what's up? Now, these people over here, or these Christians, are trying to say that they're also welcome with this special holy people when they're actually separate. But this is what they're saying. They're saying that they're clumped together and they can, and the Lord turned his back on Israel, and now these people are welcome to be part of the special chosen situation. Fuck out of here. Let's read about how the Lord feel about the other people. You have, as for the other people, which also come from Adam, right? The holy and everybody else, right? They also come from Adam, correct? Thou hast said they are nothing. Let's read that again. Thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spit, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. So the Lord feel like y'all like spit falling from out of a bucket that was, if water spilled out of a bucket, well, you wouldn't give a fuck. You'll keep it going. You ain't gonna try to pick the water back up. No, you're gonna let it ride. That's how the Lord explaining this. But y'all welcome. But the Lord said that y'all ain't about shit. But then again, y'all welcome with us. And the Lord don't change. You got to make this make sense. And it says, and now, O Lord, well, yeah, and it's talking about the heathen. So there you go with that one. You can go to, what's another one that I actually wanted to bring out too? As a matter of fact, I'm going to end this off with this. Now, if everybody was welcome into the kingdom of heaven, right? Because you can also go to, and my last one too. Matter of fact, the one that relates to this one as well. Not my last one. I'm the second to the last. Isaiah 40. I think it's Isaiah 40, 41 or 40. It's in the beginning too. It might be 41. This is the spiritual power one, but I think it's 40. Yeah, it's 40. Okay. Let me see. Okay, so well, that's a good one too. All right, so you know what? I started at 15. 40 and 15. Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket and are counted as a small dust of the balance. You see this? Are you reading this? Like this is no love right here to these other nations the Lord is talking about. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing, and Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity. Wow. These precepts are dangerous, man. And these are the ones that these heathen don't understand how the Lord feels about them. This is what it is, man. There's nothing you could do about it. You got to chalk that up. You know what I mean? Like, how do you explain this? And my last one, I love this one. This is my slam dunk John right here. Revelations, the 21st chapter, the kingdom of heaven itself. That's the end all be all after salvation. Right? Matter of fact. Wait a minute. Salvation, right, is the one thing we're going for, and to ultimately after salvation get the kingdom of heaven, right? Okay, Salakia. Second and last. John 4:22. John 4:22. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship. For salvation, the end all be all is for who? Is of the who? Is of the Jews. Why don't it say the world? If you're going to be saved, if you saved in the blood of Jesus, why don't it say of the world? Why does this contradict? Wait a minute. John 3:16 says, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son, that whosoever believe in him should not perish but have everlasting life. But then again, he said, shall not perish but shall have everlasting life. That's after salvation, right? But then the next chapter, 4:22 says, you worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Ooh, that hurts. And my end all be all. Revelations, the 21st chapter. Let's get straight to the point. This is the description of the kingdom of heaven. It says, having the glory of the Lord, her light was like unto a stone most precious. Talking about the kingdom of heaven. I'll go to 10. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from the Most High, and had a wall great and high, and had 12 gates. And at the gates was 12 bouncer angels, basically, and the names written thereon, which are the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. Now, on the east 3 gates, on the north 3 gates, on the south 3 gates, and the west 3 gates. And the wall of the city had 12 foundations, and them were the names of the 12 apostles of the Lamb. So if the kingdom of heaven has a structure built of 12 gates from the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, where are the other nations? And what room is the kingdom of heaven have for the other nations when it only specifies the description of who has a gate? If you don't have your name on the gate, then you're not welcome. So all this stuff in the Bible is all about the kingdom of heaven and everlasting life. And if the Gentiles are welcome into it, then where are the names for the other heathen nations? Don't worry, I'll wait. Why isn't it a gate for the 12 tribes of Israel, and also the gate for the Moabites, and the gate of the chosen of the Philistines, and the gate, like, where is that at? Like, where are those other gates for the other nations? Where are they at? Where? It's a cut, man. It's a cut. It's a cut. And also, it makes sense. Because remember it said that who are Israelites, which pertaineth to what? The promises and the glory, this is the promise and the glory. Makes a lot of sense when it says pertaineth to. Well, now you see that the names, that people who are welcome into it are the ones who are on these 12 tribe names. If you're not in there, it's a wrap. Like, so what exactly are we talking about here? I brought this out as edifying to you, brothers, man. There you go. Now that's how you defend the gospel. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, and Kakwadash. Yahawah, he is to be, exists, Bahasham in the name, and only begotten Son and Lord and Savior. Yahawashi, Bahasham in the name, and Holy Spirit of Kakwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, honor and truth from GMS. Blessing to the Aki, my dear, preaching his word with whole heart, truth, sincerity. Blessed to the 144,000, 1/3 entirely, the first fruits kingdom of heaven, house of David, the B'yaf, that would die. Shalom to you brothers out there speaking different tongues and looking different nations. Shalom to you brothers.